everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today I'm going to be doing my top 5 reads of May, so let's dive in. The first, and I'm going to go in order of least to most enjoyed, but these are all 5 stars. I adored all of them. They're the top books of my month. I really loved them, so don't think that any of these are bad. None of these are bad. All of these are great, but there is a list, there is a level, so yeah. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Louise O'Neill, The Surface Break. This is a reimagining of The Little Mermaid. I adore Louise O'Neill. I will buy anything Louise O'Neill writes. I will read anything Louise O'Neill writes, and I will buy it, pre-order it, and be happy and ecstatic when it arrives on my doorstep. I love Louise O'Neill. So when I was told that this was a thing, I was ecstatic and I was so thrilled, and unfortunately I don't live in the UK, so I could not receive an art copy. So what did I do? I pre-ordered this bad boy, and look at how pretty, you guys. Like, can we talk about this for a second? Just like, so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous, and it's mint green, and it's just, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. So this is the story of The Little Mermaid. It is as close to Hans Christian Andersen as you can get without losing all merit. It is really brilliant, really extensive, really beautiful, really well adapted. I love this. This is so much respect and so much love for a story that you can't explain how much you love The Little Mermaid until you've read this, because you have to understand how much The Little Mermaid was and is a strong individual. She did so much and fought so hard for something she wanted so bad, and that is such a brave thing to do. And this story follows Gaia, which is how I pronounced it. I don't know if that was really how it's pronounced, but it was Gaia in my hand. And I loved following Gaia. I loved following her story. I loved following her ideas and her mind and her thoughts, and understanding what she was and understanding what she stood for and what she wanted and how she fought for what she wanted. It was so brilliant, so wonderful, and absolutely well executed. I highly recommend it. I definitely adore it. 5 out of 5 stars. Then I have 2 rereads, which were both 5 stars, but also my most enjoyable reads of the month. And the first one is Sybil. Now, I technically brought this down to 4 stars, but I would still say it's 5 stars at the same time. It's a weird 4.5 technicality. I don't really know how to explain it, but in terms of enjoyment, I loved this book. This book is talking about a woman with DID, which is what I have. I will link my explanation video up in the cards. DID is formally called multiple personality disorder, in case you didn't know. And this follows the story of one woman and her experience with that illness, and her experience through the eyes and lens of her therapist, and what she saw and experienced, and the experience of losing time, losing track of the ability to function, losing the ability to understand what's going on, losing the ability to center oneself and to find peace with oneself. And it was really, really well done. I really loved it. Now, the only reason I dropped it down a star and didn't give it as much hype and praise as I did the first time I read it is because, well, not the first time. I've read this so many times, I can't even count. But the reason I changed my rating is because on this reread, I definitely felt there was some dramatization that was unnecessary. I think there could have been some moments where it wasn't so dramatic and so over the top, and it would have been fine to have just gone with it in the honest, you know, truth, because there's so much of how terrible abuse is, you don't need to dramatize abuse, because abuse is abuse and it's really scary no matter how you twist it. So I definitely thought that there were some moments that could have benefited from just being more honest and more level versus all kind of up in the air and exciting. I didn't think that was necessary, but if you're interested in DID, I would recommend this book. If you're interested in kind of learning more about my disorder, I would recommend this book. I definitely think it's a good adaptation of my disorder. I don't think I would go into this reading this as nonfiction. Some people call it nonfiction. I don't know if it's nonfiction. There's been a lot of hubbub about whether or not it's real, whether or not the therapist faked it, whether or not the therapist put her under hypnosis and brought these parts out without her knowledge and controlled it. Don't listen to all that shit. Like, don't bother with that shit, because honestly, this is an honest adaptation of what DID feels like. It is on point. It is completely almost factual. Like, it feels honest. So read it for that. Read it for the experience. Read it for the honesty. Don't go into all of the dynamics and perfection of it. Like, don't get wrapped up in that. Just read it for what it is, which is a really honest depiction of an illness that is really scary. Handmaid's Tale. I loved this book so much. I was really kind of twisted or torn between Sybil and The Handmaid's Tale in order of least to most enjoyed. I really didn't know where to go. But Handmaid's Tale kind of trumped it because I just love it. I just love it. I just think it's so good and so vivid and vital and real and edgy, and I just, oh, I love it so much. And I think that honestly I've read quite a few Margaret Atwood books and I need to read more, maybe, but I would say that out of Margaret Atwood's books, this is my favorite. This is the one that I feel is the most well done and well equipped to kind of face the world. I find it the most flawless and honest. I adored it. It is the story of Offred, who is a handmaid in a time where what happens is women are no longer as fertile, so only those who are fertile are the handmaids, and their job is to procreate for the wealthier people in society. And this follows one handmaid and her experience in Gilead. I really love it. If you're watching the show, you know what happens in this book because season 1 kind of spoils it. But if you haven't read the book, I would still read it if you're loving the show, because it's really good and it's really worth reading. And I definitely just think it's a great book. Coffee break. Not That Bad by edited by Roxane Gay. This is a essay collection that dissects and talks about rape culture. I took forever to read this. It was hard. It made me angry. It made me sour. It made me stressed. It made me sad. It made me overwhelmed. It shook me and it fucked me up. It made me uncomfortable and sad. I loved it. It was awesome. It was honest. It was raw. It was straight up excellence. I adore it. If you are curious about what rape culture is or what we're trying to fight with the Me Too movement, read this book. If you are new to rape culture and don't understand it, read this book. If you want to understand more about rape culture and you already know a lot about it, read this book. This is just gold. It is epic. I adored it. I definitely recommend it. If you're curious about rape culture, do it. But if you feel like you can't handle it, stay away. Like, honestly, this is not one to try out and see if you can handle it. This is like first page, you are getting shaken in the face with, oh my God, this is real life. Like, this is something we deal with on a daily basis as women. It is insane and crazy, and it is bad for men, it is bad for women, it is bad for children. Rape culture is dangerous for everybody involved. Definitely read this. And then my favorite read of the month. Oh my God, I love this so much. I can't decide if I like Almost Love or this better. This is going to be in my top books of the year. I know it. This is The Wildlands by Abby Genide. This is a story of Cora, who is a little girl who one day on her farm there is a level 5 tornado and it kills her father, and her mother is already dead, and so she and her siblings are left to fend for themselves, and they move into this trailer. Her brother takes off, and years later, she's going to school, everything is normal, and then there is an explosion at the local cosmetics company in the town, and something goes wrong, and her brother shows back up, and she goes on a wild epic adventure with her brother, and she follows him around the country, not understanding what he's doing and why he's doing it, but trying so hard to fit in with him because she loves him so much. It's brilliant. It's epic. It's wonderful. It's fabulous. This one comes out in September, so I'm sorry that it's so early. I'm going to be doing a full in-depth review on this, but it was brilliant and I loved it, and it's so good. Oh my god. Absolutely excellent. Riveting. Just riveting. Those books are gonna fall. No question in my mind, those books are gonna fall. So, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, click that subscribe button down below. And if you have any questions, comments, or quandaries, go ahead and leave them in the comment box. I will talk to you all in my next video. Bye.